Welcome to Naturally Inquisitive, a podcast by the School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics at the University of Texas at Dallas. Today we have Professor Mustafa Ishak with us. Welcome, Professor.
Hey, hello.
Professor, can you please tell us about yourself and how you got interested in physics?
Sure. Well, again, I'm professor in astrophysics and cosmology, and I did my PhD in Canada and my undergraduate studies in Canada, and then I came to New Jersey, to Princeton, and then after that to UT Dallas since 2005. And I do astrophysics for research and cosmology. What got me interested in physics is these big questions. Since I was a little kid, like 10 years, 11 years, I was always interested in these big questions about the universe, about the infinite universe. Are there boundaries? How did it all started? And all these big questions. And so that interested me in cosmology and astrophysics. But then it took me some time to figure out that the questions that I'm interested in can find answers within physics and astrophysics. And that's how I got interested in this. Yeah.
That it has been a journey, Professor, and that's so inspiring.
Thank you.
Professor, we would like to know, what do you specialize in, and what advice would you have for a student who is trying to figure out what to go into?
Sure. So what I specialize to is called cosmology.
Okay.
It is the study of the universe at the very large scales. So it studies how the universe expands, how the universe evolves, how was it in the past. We know that the age of the universe is about 13.8 billion years. And the study of all the different stages of the universe, including its fate and its future, all is part of cosmology. And that is, we know in the universe there are stars and solar systems, and our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains about 10 to the 11. It's a large number of galaxies, and so each galaxy contains 10 to the 11 stars like ours. But then the universe, the observable universe, also contains hundreds of thousands of galaxies like ours. So the study of cosmology tries to understand how this universe as a whole evolves, what are the different constituents of this universe. That's what is called cosmology. So that's what I study. The second part of your question is for students. And for students, how do you figure out what you want to do in the future? I tell to my students, whether they are undergraduates, graduate students, I tell them that you have three things to consider. The first one is, what do you like to do? What you are passionate about. The second thing is, what are you good at? What are your skills? Everyone has different skills. What are your skills? And the third one, you also need something that gives you a living, give you something that you will have a future with. You can afford your life with it. You can pay your bills. You can live with it. So at the intersection of these three, you can then find something that is not only you like to do, because there's a lot of things that you like to do, and then you also find something that will actually also bring you happiness and bring you respond to your needs in your life. So this is the how you. But one thing, the most important basic thing, the most important is that you need to do something that you are passionate about. That and then can also gives you other elements. But certainly being passionate about what you do, loving what you do, is very important. I think that's
so That's right. And there is this quote by Einstein that I'm not a genius, but I'm passionately curious. And that sums up it all, that we need to be passionate. And
yes.
That is the greatest advice that you have given to us. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So Professor, we would like to know your story. What brought you to UTD and your journey at UTD?
Yeah, that's a good question. About 17 years ago, I think what attracted me to UT Dallas is the fact that it was an emergent university, and it was the the most promising university in the Dallas DFW Metroplex, which is a large metroplex without a large research university. So what attracted me here is the freedom of coming here, establishing things like now we have a group in cosmology, a very vibrant group in cosmology. We can compete nationally, internationally in our research. And so the pull was that it was rather, it's the freedom that I know I was going to have, and I had it. It all worked perfectly well. For the last 17 years, things have been fantastic and have evolved in a very good way. And we got national recognition, we got national prizes, and so forth. So that was the pull to UTD. It was not like in other places where you have a square and they give you a square to fit into it. No, it was really kind of open, and I came here. I was a leader of my group. I created the group. I hired professors. I hired students, and so forth. So that is what pulled me to UTD.
Wow, that's such a nice story.
Yeah, and I tell to my students now, UTD now is the fastest growing university in the state, is also now among the top research university in Dallas area and in Texas. So my hinge was right about it.
That's not true. Professor, you were elected as a fellow for AAAS, which is American Association for Advancement of Sciences in 2021. And you were recognized for both things, for your research in cosmology and for teaching. Please, can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Yeah, the receiving the recognition from the American Associations for the Advancement of Science last year in both research and teaching was to me a very important recognition. So it's a recognition because it came from externally from Texas, externally from UT Dallas. It's a national and external recognition to the efforts that we have put into research, to the accomplishment. And as the quote said, so there is a recognition for what we have done as research work, all the accomplishment, but also all the accomplishment in teaching. So not only I was happy because it was an external recognition for research, but also an external recognition for teaching, for the two of them. I think that is again a sign, that is again a very satisfactory and happy thing that happened, is to have this external recognition, and it brings honor to UT Dallas, to our physics department, and it brings a lot of happiness to my group and to myself.
That's great. So, Professor, what are your some contribution to cosmology research that you are more excited about?
Oh yeah, sure. So the research the research accomplishment that I'm most excited about is so first of all in 2005 actually, shortly before to come here and afterwards, I made a very important contribution to in cosmology to how to test whether cosmic acceleration, the universe is expanding, but is expanding in an accelerating way. Okay. And the big question is why the universe is accelerating. Okay. Why the universe is accelerating. Why this expansion is accelerating. Mm-hmm. It could be due to some new energy in the universe, which is called dark energy. Okay. But it could also be a sign that the theory of Einstein at cosmological scales is changed, ceased to be valid. And as such, there are models that accelerate. And so that was one thing. I proposed a procedure that could distinguish between one possibility and the other. So that is a big thing. I think a lot of people like the work, and it opened up a full area of research called now modified gravity. That's all in conferences. So that was one thing. There is also a phenomenon in astrophysics called intrinsic alignment of galaxies. So galaxies are at very large scales. they're aligned with each other.
Wow.
And that alignment actually is due to some physics. So with some colleagues and with some students here at UT Dallas, we made the first measurement, the first detection of this intrinsic alignment of galaxies using a lot of data, and we made this detection. So that's the second thing. The third thing that I'm excited about is a review that I was asked to write about testing the theory of Einstein at cosmological scales. So I worked on this topic for years, and then I was asked to write a review about this. And that review is a very prestigious one called Living Reviews in Relativity that I was very happy about, and again brings external recognition to my group and to myself, to UT Dallas. I think it's the first time at UT Dallas that a professor is asked to write a review in Living Reviews in Relativity. So that's a third thing I'm excited about. There are other smaller things I would say that are but still very exciting here and there, a long list of them, of course. I am also excited about the work I'm doing with the Legacy Survey for Space and Time. That is a US-led survey experiment. And so I do some, I am one of the leaders there to do for the modeling and joint probe analysis. And so I'm very excited. This is one of the biggest cosmology experiments in the US, as well as the DESI, the Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument, that actually is collecting data right now. So in about a year from now, it's so exciting because we will be able to measure whether the theory of Einstein at cosmological scale is valid or not. And we will also be able to understand a little bit more about cosmic acceleration. What is driving the acceleration of this expansion? We don't know. We have no clue. It may change all our vision about space and time, how space and time is made, how it evolves, and so forth. So very exciting year to come.
That's so true, and that's so exciting to hear all that. And that's a great contribution by you for the humanity and for the UDD. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you.
Professor, you have been awarded with several teaching awards, including President Teaching Excellence Award last year. So what drives you in teaching? Why are you so passionate in teaching?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. For a long time, for like the last 30 years, I always had some inclination for teaching. I always liked to teach, and but then so I even when I was an undergraduate student, I did some teaching assistant work, and also as a graduate student. And then when I started teaching at Princeton first, and then here at UT Dallas, I found out that I really enjoy doing it, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy communicating what I know, explaining things to students, monitoring students for research. And what I found is two things that makes me passionate about teaching, that drives me for teaching. One of them, the first one, is to communicate to students the joy of knowledge, the joy of the intellect, the joy of the secrets of the universe. How to communicate that to students, to inspire them to be curious about how things work, how the universe evolved, how microscopic things evolved and move. So it's this, communicate to them the beauty. That's the word I was looking for, the beauty. Communicate to them the beauty of sciences, the beauty of sciences. So that is, and that actually inspires students, that provides inspiration. Once we inspire students, they drive us. I don't drive them, they work more than they thought they could. The first one is to inspire students. The second one, in my opinion, is also to care for students, to care for their well-being, to care for their success. And they are smart. They know. When a teacher cares, they know. Students, they know. They know that they care for them. They know that, and they passionate them. And once those are accomplished, the mission of the professor and teacher is accomplished. They move by themselves, and it's just a joy to see them evolving and flying with their own wings. And last is also, why is it important for me, is because when I wake up in the morning, I take my car and to come to the university, I feel like I'm going to change the world.
Wow.
Because that's how I feel like my teaching. I have taught now thousands of students at UT Dallas. When I go to an ice cream shop or I go to a mall or something, I always run across my students, and they come to me and they say, "Hi, Dr. Ishak, how are you? I still remember your class. It was so great, it was so motivating," and so forth. So it's a joy for me to see that thing. So I feel like I contribute to the society, I contribute to everyday's life, I make a difference via my teaching. So it is a blessing to be a teacher.
It is a blessing to have you as a professor, because it's the beauty of your mentorship and the way you care for students what drives the lives of students, and we are so grateful to have you.
Thank you.
Professor, what advice do you have for the students of natural sciences and mathematics?
Well, that's a good question, and in fact that's a general question that I hear all the time, and I will address it to all the students, in fact all the students of the world, not only the students at UT Dallas, but the students in all over the world, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in South America, in North America, in everywhere in the world. My advice to students is the following, including our students here at UT Dallas and the school, our school, the NS&M school. My advice for students is, don't let people tell you no, stop. Follow your passion, be ambitious, aim high, do what you like to do. Don't let your family tell you no, don't let your society tell you no. If you are passionate about something, it doesn't have to be physics. Some people are passionate about all sciences, literature, humanities, you name it, medicine, doctor. If you are sports, if you are ambitious, if you are passionate about something, follow your passion. Don't get stopped or discouraged. There will be discouragement on the way. There will be hard times, but don't get discouraged. Follow your passion and work hard. Nothing comes without work. Work hard, follow your passion, continue to the end, never stop in the middle. When you start something, finish it. And you will be surprised that if you work hard, you are passionate about what you do, you follow your heart, what you like, you can only be successful. Only be successful no matter what. So that's my advice to our student here at UT Dallas, but all the students over the world. Be passionate, be passionate about what you do, follow your passion actually, and don't get stopped by discouragement, and work hard until you get what you want to do, and enjoy it. That's the other thing. I know when I start slowing down is because my brain is trying to find another thing important. The other thing that is important is not just to get somewhere. It's not just to get somewhere, the objective or what matters. No, you have to have values. It's also how you get somewhere is very important. You need to do it with honesty. You need to do it with integrity. You need to do it with principles. And that is important too. So I tell to all my students, it's the journey that matters, is how you get there that matters. And then you get there is important. Because afterwards, what you remember the journey, you remember your path into getting there. And that's very important. So, so that's what I will tell to our students.
That's so great, sir. It's so good and inspiring to listen to all that, because it's the journey that matters. And what I have learned from you is that if the love and passion is a tree, then success is its shadow. And success is bound to follow if you are passionate or if you are loving what you are doing.
Absolutely, that is correct. Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor, for participating in the Naturally Inquisitive podcast by the School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics at UTD. And we are really grateful to have you here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Keep watching and keep listening to Naturally Inquisitive by the School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics.